Oh, hello and welcome again. This is Daniel Jude Gennis, of course, speaking to you from London, United Kingdom. And yes, London seems to have reverted back to a kind of Narnian winter. If you've ever read the Chronicles of Narnia, those great books for children by C.S. Lewis. A few of them were made into films. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe comes immediately to mind. Then you'll well understand what I mean. It's there's no snow or ice or anything like that, but it feels eternally cold, as well as being extremely wet. So it could be like how can I put it in the book when the spell is broken, the White Witch's spell is broken, and then suddenly it's the thaw and spring comes. Well, we're somewhere in the middle of that. It was bitterly cold this morning, although it's now milder. It's very overcast now, so we're going to get some heavy rainfall, I would imagine, later this evening. But that aside, yes, it's Tuesday, 1st of May, I think it is. Yeah, been a bit of a tiring day. Yes, not as bad as yesterday, but I did get some sleep last night, about 5 hours. So I was kind of firing on all cylinders somewhat, but the thoughts of my father are still at the back of my mind. I'm worried about him. Yes, he's got his wife and she's looking after him and things, but it doesn't stop me from thinking about him. And plus the fact that I can't afford to jump on a plane right now and fly over to Jamaica to see him and spend time with him, because the real worry at the back of my mind now that he's 80 is that if I don't do something and soon, I might never see him again. And that's a bit of a worry, but my hands are tied on that. I mean, it's so expensive to fly to Jamaica from here anyway, and it's something I've never done, so I'm not in the habit. Well, I'm not in the habit of traveling. I don't really travel that much yet, but I have been out of the UK. I think the first time was 1976 to the town of Boulogne. I mentioned that in another entry. 92, I spent some time in America, living and working there. And was last? I think the last time I left the UK was what, around April. Was it April 2004? That was just after the Easter of that year, to work on a film called, was it called Sahara? Now there have been a few films called Sahara, but this is the adventure film based on the Clive Cussler novel, and I had a, well, I won't say I had a small part. I had a part anyway. I'm seen in the film, although I don't say anything because I'm apparently either dying or dead. It's to the you could describe it as being a small part, but I subscribe to that actors a maxim that there are no small parts, just small actors. So I had a role in a major film. It's not the first role I've had. Sahara. I actually bought the book at the time to read it, and I never read the book before I went. It was some years after I read the book. Liked the film, enjoyed working on it, but the novel is far better, far superior than the film. Nothing to do with Matthew McConaughey's performance or Penelope Cruz, who I had the pleasure of meeting and working with. There's so much left out of the book. It's Breck. I think it's Breck Eisner, director Breck Eisner's first major feature, and he did a lot of good work on it. He's a really good director, but there's so much they could have left him. But then it would have been a really long film. And back in 2004, the whole thing of making a two-part movie over the course of a couple of years wasn't really being done. The exceptions to that would be Lord of the Rings, and what was the other one? The Matrix, which ran across three films. But yeah, it wasn't really common. I mean, those two aside, it was set up that way. Maybe they could have done it, but nobody was really doing it the way they do now. We've had a whole series of films like that. The latest being Avengers: Infinity War. Part one's out there. I'm going to try and see if I can actually catch it this weekend, hopefully. And then there's part two next year. I'm trying to think of other films that have kind of done that. I've already mentioned a few. The whole, what was it again? It's based on Suzanne Collins' novel with Jennifer Lawrence. I read the first two novels. The Hunger Games. That's the one there. That was done over three or four films, and there's three novels. I think there's one they split in two. I think it's three or four. But anyway, Google it, Wikipedia, and please correct me on that. But here I'm making small talk, which is just getting me away from really trying to avoid how I feel about not seeing my father. It has been a distraction. It is at the back of my mind, and yeah, I still have to move forward, of course, but it's kind of still there. I just think it's just a shock to see an image of him and actually to see him via WhatsApp, which is not the same as being in the same room, but he is very much a shadow of his former self. But then again, having not seen him physically for 20 years, it would come as a shock to the system. But there's a whole backstory about that which I won't go into. Let's just say that he went there prior to his retirement with a degree of wealth, and well, I mentioned it before, so I won't go there again. It's in a previous entry. So that's going to be at the back of my mind for a while. So it is a case of, well, where am I at right now? What am I doing? Well, there is the whole guitar thing. I'm kind of glad that I've kind of got into that now, because that's going to take my mind off a lot of things. Uh, yeah, it will take. Yeah, it will. It will take my mind off a lot of things. I also want to get back to my writing. I haven't done a blog entry or wrote a story or anything in what like seems forever. Then there's my digital newspaper, Digital World Wired. I mean, it gets generated every Friday, but I haven't written an editorial for it for a while. Need to get back to do that. What else is there? Oh yes, right, yeah. Recording equipment. Mentioned that I had to do a voice, well, no, a voice reel uh, as part of well, it was an audition for a voiceover project in Africa, which will be not based in Africa, but the story will be centered somewhere in Africa. I think it's a generic thing. I don't know too much of the details. I think it has to do with young girls and the dangers that they face. Enforced marriage. Enforced sex, pregnancy, and all that entails. I don't know too much about it. It's just the general information that I got with the script. So as I said before, if you don't see me or hear me mention anything about it, you'll know that I didn't get the job. But yes, I digress. Yes, one of the things I was doing around the same time as I was looking into getting a guitar. Believe it or not, it was only one I intended to get, but I went a little bit mad. But then again, I wasn't spending hundreds or thousands on guitars. But I was also looking at microphones. There's plenty of good deals on Amazon. I'm not doing a commercial for Amazon, but normally when I want something that is a first port of call, I'm really not going past shops or something. Although, just to slip out of that discussion, I did notice that a guitar store is open not far from where I live here in East Central London. So yeah, it's about 10 minutes away from where I am. So I might just pop in there and look. I won't buy anything, but just satisfy my curiosity, etc. But yeah, I digress again. Yeah, I was looking into microphones, and as part of the whole recording thing. At the moment, I'm doing it via a piece of software called Audacity, and I'm recording it via my laptop computer, and it does a fair job for what it does. But now I'm trying to kind of do something more professional. So what I was doing around the same time was looking at microphones, but then the whole guitar thing took precedence. It took on a life of its own. Now that that's kind of passed, I've kind of returned to looking at microphones and stands. Got a really good deal from Amazon. It was about what, just under £30 GBP, or £30 sterling, depending on how you phrase British currency. That came with a microphone and a stand and a couple of cables, I think it was. So that's kind of a good steal. But I'm not actually looking at other backup microphones and things like that, just to kind of give my give my little efforts some kind of professional uh, polish, if you will. Yeah, yeah, yes, yeah. I'm trying to be a little bit more professional in what I'm doing in terms of voice. Voice is something that I'd actually voice work is something that I kind of avoided. I had a not too not too pleasant experience when I attended a workshops. It was somewhere in Camden in North London. That's got to be going back what, maybe 9 years, 9, 10 years. No, it's probably about 9 years. And we it was a bitterly cold winter. Well, I mean, there wasn't much snow on the ground up here, but because Camden, like a lot of North London's on a plateau, it's a lot colder and the snow and ice sticks around longer. The workshop wasn't properly heated, so I spent about, what was it, about what 3 hours or more, sitting in a cold room, trying very hard to listen to what's being said and freezing my smalls off. So I never did another one again. I tend to find that with the world of voiceover work, particularly in the UK, there are a few a few names that have the market sewn up. The one that I hear a lot of is an actor called N. Reitel. I hope I've pronounced your name. N, if you're watching this, I doubt you're watching this anyway. But yeah, N. Reitel, I mean, he lives within walking distance of the main studios where they do a lot of voiceover stuff, and he's apparently a multi-millionaire. I haven't seen N on TV or film in decades. I think the last time I saw him was something in the 80s, and that a scripted drama, what TV drama, and an advert for Peanuts. Well, he's not working for Peanuts now, so I've heard, and he's a multimillionaire purely by doing voiceover work. He has, I was told, he has about 50 different voices in his arsenal, so he's making a great deal of money from that. He's not the only one. I mean, there's a few or a certain number of people who are very elite and that have the market. So not Sean Pertwee, who you might know as Alfred, Bruce Wayne's butler in the Gotham TV series. He was another one that was doing quite well out of that. Given that he's based stateside doing the whole Gotham thing, I'm not sure what he's doing where voiceover work's concerned in the UK or anywhere else. Looking into it, well, I haven't investigated voiceover work for some time now, but it seemed to me that the people that were outside of the talent that's actually making the money are people do who run courses. And yeah, you can spend a lot of money and build up a technique, but it's not necessarily going to get you into the world of voice work. Now, I don't have a problem with my accent. A lot of people do. Coming from the Midlands area of the country, namely Birmingham, I still have my native natural accent. Believe you me, I've done everything I can to kind of shift it, but it's kind of there still. I don't want to sound posh as if I went to Oxford University, but it's a good skill to have. So I do try and brush up on it every now and again, but not on a regular basis as I should be. Again, the old maxim from Viola Davis: fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Well, tired of failing, so I'm working on that as well. Right, yeah, well, I was talking about microphones. So, yeah, I've already ordered one and a muffler. I'll see how that goes, but although I'm looking at other microphone equipment because having worked in audio visual, I do know something, a little knowledge of microphones, even though I haven't done that job since what 2010. But yeah, I was kind of handy with microphones, so it'll be good to play around, experiment. And one of the good things is that microphones are really not that expensive. You know, you can get your basic karaoke model. You get other similar makes that are really good for what they do. So I'm actually looking forward to experimenting with that and doing my own thing rather than spending the best part of £1,000 doing a voice reel, which well, doing a course in voiceovers, which necessarily won't get me a job in the world of voiceover work. But for me, it's just an additional skill to have. It does come up from time to time, voice work, and I do have the Audacity software, and I use that through my laptop. I'm just trying to, as I said before, add a bit of spit and polish to it all. Yeah, so that's where I am. Really, I don't think there's anything else I can tell you or have anything to report. Over my day job is due, or my contract on the day job's due to end at the end of this month. So unless I find alternative employment, I will have a lot of things to do on a lot of time on my hands rather to do all the things I've mentioned. Although it's not paying. Well, practice makes perfect, but I'm not out of a job yet, so we'll just have to see what happens. Anyway, it's good to do this and to talk to you as always. So I again will bid you adieu, goodbye, and take care of yourself and of each other. Okay, take care. Bye.